Hey there guys, I'm SonicGhost and welcome back to some more Let's Play Shadow the Hedgehog Expert Mode. Thanks, Cream, and I guess by extension, Cheese as well. But this level, we're gonna be making our way through the neutral mission here, so we're just trying to get to the end. So we're gonna try to stick to one Black Hawk the entire time, the first one. So this level, normally, for a dark mission, we need to destroy 4 generators, and that would open up different walls for us to just bypass entirely. But there are no generators here in this mission, so we'll have to bypass these walls by just flying around them. Want to be very, very careful in this stage, because if you do try to go through the entire thing without getting off of the starting Black Hawk here, you could be in for a world of pain. Because if you die in any section here without jumping off to hit a checkpoint, you're restarting from the very beginning. So we'll be very careful not to do that. There will be health refills here and there in this stage that we can shoot down, which will give us some extra health on our creature if we do lose some ammo, or do lose some health, excuse me. But hopefully we're not gonna have to worry about this thing dying. Just hold down the A button the whole time, you're fine. You could, if you have all 5 secret keys and need more lives, I would recommend jumping off near the secret door here up ahead to get those 3 extra lives behind the door. But we are not gonna be going for those lives here because we have more than enough. We can skip some lives at this point. At this stage of my expert mode playthrough, I have more than enough lives. I can get through the entire thing at this point comfortably. So at this stage, we'll let those lives be. Just gonna scoot under these walls, being very careful not to get shot by those turrets. That's probably the most nerve-wracking section here in the ARK. There's just so many turrets, but if you just fly as fast as possible by holding down the A button, they're not much of a threat. Fortunately, we missed that final boost ring, so I have to fly through this normally. But there's nothing here besides turrets, so we just fly straight through the middle. That makes that pretty simple. And that's it for the ARK. Really, it's not different at all compared to the normal playthrough outside of just no generators. So it's a pretty simple stage.
Perfect.
Alright, now time for our next stage here. Let's go through Airfleet.
Shadow, the word is
Damn, not here.
Ball again.
Shadow, the word is that you're doing well with your training.
Mr. President, you're late for your tea time with the Chief Cabinet Secretary of Japan.
Ah, yes. I almost forgot. I'll talk to you later.
I really do think, Mr. President, you need to tell your secretary to turn up your phone's mic or something. You're very, why is that one so quiet? Serious, I swear. Speak up! But it's nice at least hear from the president. And also, I guess by extension, his secretary, you know, she doesn't talk to Shadow directly. She's talking to the president. But yeah, at this point, that makes sense, President talking to us in this stage. This is the stage, technically, that we're either trying to save the United Nations president from the Black Arm invasion, or we're trying to shoot down his emergency aircraft. So either way, you're doing something good or doing something bad in the most radical sense. Thankfully, we don't have to do any one of those specific tasks this time. We're just running through, trying to make our way through the gold ring. So that's simple enough. I'm gonna make sure I get myself some extra ammo here for my weapon, give her some extra rings from a checkpoint, and then we'll use our chaos control here on this rail grinding section. This section here, gonna wait for the fan to turn off, and you're technically supposed to grab all of these pulleys. I never bother every single time because if you miss the pulley, you're sent back to the very beginning anyways. So I'd rather just charge up a spin dash, wait for the fan to stop, let go, and you're guaranteed to make it through every single time if you have a full spin dash charged up. So I just find that to be a lot easier. Now, this section, or this whole level in general, is way easier if you have the secret keys, because you can just use the air saucer behind the secret door and take a lot of alternate paths. So this level for expert mode doesn't really feel that different if you take the secret paths. But because we're not using any of the secret doors for this run, it's definitely going to be a little more challenging. You've also noticed so far, every fork in the road, we are forced to go left. This is because on the right paths, no matter which one you go down, there will always be a locked door in front of you, meaning you always have to take the left pathway here in Airfleet. If you have Chaos Control, you can bypass these locked doors and force your way into the right paths. The enemies for these sides will still be here just like from the normal mission, but once you reach the end of the path, the door leading out will be locked, so you're better off just taking all the left paths here in Airfleet. Charge up our spin dash here so we can go a little bit faster on these rails, and this section does kind of feel a little empty when you don't have to stay here and attack the emergency aircraft trying to make its way through this level. So that turn we can just completely ignore. Thankfully, because we have the Shadow Rifle still, we can just take out all these aliens around us, unlocking the door forward. Otherwise, those guys would take forever to defeat. This would have been a great section also to have the air saucer, because it definitely saves a lot of time. This outdoor section, I don't know why, but for whatever reason they replaced the platforms here with these weight platforms instead. It doesn't make any sense. They're a little bit smaller, but other than that, they don't move. So it's not really that much harder. It's just cosmetically different. That's about it. Alright, we're nearing the end of the stage here. We have just enough, I believe, for one more Chaos Control. So we're gonna just attack all the aliens in this room. And right here, this is a very long elevator section, which you can skip by just jumping down to the door, but we have Chaos Control. This skips it even more. Hit the checkpoint on the way out, might as well for our life. And that's it for the Airfleet.
Perfect.
Well, at this point, we have been going now for a little over an hour, and now we're making our way into Iron Jungle, which is our 15th stage and around the halfway mark. And we'll find out here soon enough because Eggman will tell us the same thing.
Shadow, it's me again. Are you upset with me for something? Very well. You're about halfway through your training. Keep at it and head to the next goal ring.
So this is stage 15, but Eggman is telling us this is the halfway mark. The reason why Eggman is saying that this is the halfway mark for 23 stages is because the next set of stages we're going to be going through, they're going to be a lot longer in comparison to some of the stages we've been playing up to this point. So halfway sounds about right once you get here to Iron Jungle. This stage doesn't have Eggman's blimp anywhere to be seen, so we don't have to worry about chasing down a flying vehicle here, just like in the last level. I'm gonna go ahead and grab me my vacuum gun. Everyone's favorite egg vac has made another return. Makes short work of the shadow androids here, and gives us enough for Chaos Control. How convenient. Skips an entire light speed section, which I am definitely a fan of. We'll take this walker and we'll jump up to the top here. For the most part, you're gonna be taking a lot of walker pathways here in this level, but for the most part, you are going down the neutral pathway mixed in with the hero route. So this is one of those cases where it doesn't matter where you go, because both the top half and the bottom half still work. But after this next checkpoint, there is going to be a section where the top half is locked off, so we won't be able to go that way unless you're clever with your spin dash jumping. That's the only way you'd be going to the top half here. So I'm just gonna wait for this elevator. You can grab the pulley. And right up here, this is where you would normally go the top half if you were doing the dark mission, but we can't get that way, so we'll take the bottom half instead. The section very empty without Eggman's blimp, but this is fine because it takes us to another section with a bunch of the shadow androids. And I gotta fight these guys using the rocket launcher, everybody's least favorite weapon. I'm honestly surprised this worked. Let's use Chaos Control, skip this entire Lightspeed Dash section, which is a lot, and then you get dropped off right next to the gold ring. Don't know why. We'll just continue Chaos Control and end the level.
Perfect.
Alright, back to space for Space Gadget. And be used to space, because we're going to be here for 2 levels.
Shadow, do you read me? First, I want to apologize for the other day. Actually, I just became a grandfather last week, and I was thinking of maybe having you over. I know that the training is tough, but try and do your best.
Well, congrats to the commander, because he's apparently a grandfather now. Well, that's some lore dropped right there in the training. Also, speaking of lore, in between me recording the entirety of this Shadow the Hedgehog series here on YouTube, we've learned more information about the commander. Like, for example, his full name. Thanks to Shadow Generations, along with the animated short made for it, The Dark Beginnings, we now know the commander's full name. He has an actual name in this series. Better than a commander, that's for sure. The commander's full name is Abraham Tower. It's really nice to finally have this little nugget of detail, because honestly, the commander, that's it, that's his name. It's very generic, especially when they write the character to have more characterization here in the X mode playthrough, with him having a better relationship with Shadow, wanting to invite him to dinner, introduce him to the family. Now he's a grandfather. It feels very odd for him not to have had a name up until this point. So, congrats on the name. But this level here, we're running through for the neutral/hero mission. We're just trying to get to the goal path, which is in the same spot as always. But if you take the dark pathways route, you will just be wasting your time. Simply because the dark path will loop back around to the ending of this level anyways, but it's just a lot longer. So you're better off just going the normal path, because it's just way faster. Not to mention, it's a lot harder now to get to the dark path. They do a better job at blocking it off. It's still possible to go down to the dark path here. It's just not needed. But in this final section, if you have Chaos Control still ready by the time you get to this grind rail, let her rip and be prepared for the longest Chaos Control in the entire game. And with that, we're at the end of the stage. So let's go ahead, hit that goal ring, and be done with Space Gadget.
Perfect.
And now it's time for everybody's favorite stage, am I right? Thankfully, Lost Impact here in Expert is not really that bad. You would expect to start out with a hint bubble here, but no, it's after the first spring.
Shadow! I hear that my research experiments have escaped and are running loose. The positive and negative electro connectors must have been reversed. Yes, I must be getting old. At any rate, would you drop by my room? I'll be waiting for you.
Okay, Gerald, I guess we're going to your room, wherever that is in this place. You know, Shadow would know, but the player would have no idea where that room is located. I will say, the goal ring has been moved in the stage, but it's not that far off from its original location. So, we are going a little bit further than the stage, but not by terribly much. So, play the stage out like you would for the neutral mission. You can attack the artificial chaos here if you want to fill up your hero gauge and use Chaos Control. It's just not really needed in this level. In fact, you'll probably only get maybe one good Chaos Control out, so I recommend just running through the stage here instead.
Commencing attack plan B.
Just give me all the pieces of the artificial chaos. While we may not be taking out every single enemy here and trying to kill them all, it is going to be very helpful for us to suck up all the little pieces of enemies here and there, just so we can get ourselves some extra lives. But you know what we're going to do? This is the one secret door I will be using. For the fans. Also known as the masochists. We'll drive the car. Even though there's literally no point, this car, I still wonder to this day, why? Why is this in this stage? It's the most useless reward for getting all the keys in any stage in this game. So much so, we're dropping it off here, because we can't use it anymore. This car? Yeah, just shove it into the pit. Who cares? Can't ride any bit further anyways. Pro tip when you're on these cannons, as a reminder for the stage, if you hold the A button, you will move a lot faster. And since we're just trying to get through the stage, get to the goal ring, it's good to go as fast as we can. Thank you for the free lives. Let's get out of here. Ignore the rest of the artificial chaos. Might as well hit this checkpoint, get ourselves another life. Careful of the rockets. Thanks, guys. I'm on your side. Hit this switch. From here, we want to jump straight down. Because honestly, all this does not matter. We don't have to take any of the platforming stuff. Just don't fall into the pits. Very easy to do. Now, from here, we would normally go to this door right in front of us. And that would be a said end of the level. But that's not the case here. We have ourselves a shadow box in place of the goal ring. Which honestly is kind of useless. Because all we have to do now to get to the end of the stage is ride through one more cannon section. This section here technically loops back around between two different cannon pathways. So, because of that, we just want to go a little bit further ahead here. And now we want to go over to where the 5th secret key would be normally located. Because behind this door up top is the goal ring. Wasn't really that far off from its normal location. Barely moved. Apparently, that's Gerald's room.
Perfect.
Sure. Seems a little cramped to me, Gerald. But now on our final level, or final row of levels, excuse me. It's time for Gun Fortress. The final level in the Pure Dark path.
Incoming! Freeze! Hey, Shadow. You've only got 6 stages left in your training. Have you got enough lives left to do it? Remember, once the game is over, it's all the way back to the start. Extra careful. Anyhow, keep going.
Thanks, Sonic. I think I got the gist at this point, being this far in, that if I die for good. I'm good. I'm just gonna speed through things and use this vacuum gun here to try to get more lives, just because, you know, the drill at this point. Might as well get as many lives as possible. Because, hey, according to Sonic, people die when they are killed. That's essentially the same message he gave me. As well use our Chaos Blast right here, open up the doorway. Jump over this little electrical fence. This is assuming that's an electrical fence. Might as well take care of the aliens around here to fill up our meter. It's not going to be enough for Chaos Control, but it'll be close. So, next set of enemies we find from Black Doom's troops, that should be enough for us to use a Chaos Control and get out of here. For now, let's get on these turrets, take care of the gunwalkers up above, and now open up our way to a pulley. So, this section here, our stealth section, and get used to seeing these, because we can only go through the dark path in this stage. We can't go to any top platforms in this level at all. We can't take the hero path. We have to go the dark path, even though we're going for the hero goal ring section. So unfortunately, no straight paths, no little shortcuts. Gotta go the short/long way. Technically, the dark paths are a little bit shorter, but also they have a lot more obstacles for you to go through, so they might be somewhat slower. It also doesn't help, we can't go the hero path anymore because there are no aliens for us to attack, meaning we can't fill up our chaos control meter all that much. There's a lot more gun troops here than black arm troops, and that's definitely not going to help us zoom through this level fast. This is still one of the most notorious levels for getting an A rank, specifically in your dark mission, because you have so many enemies here. This will be a guaranteed A rank if you're just going for enemy score alone. We're gonna jump off of this rocket here, even though it may not be the best idea. If you know where to land here, it's actually way faster. Just enough boxes around me so I don't fill up my meter, but get an extra life. That's very convenient. Be very careful here in these said lasers. Don't want to hit them. Try to just maneuver around all these enemies before they have a chance to attack. And at this point, our meter's gonna be full, so next enemy we kill will give us not only a weapon, but infinite ammo. Don't mind if I do.
Death to all who oppose me.
Gotta change this out now for the comically large Gatling gun. Still one of my favorite weapons. Honestly, if we were just doing a normal mission run here, I would be using this more in the egg bag, but just for the live's sake. I still recommend getting the egg vacuum. Take the top half here also, not only for yet another extra life, but it is actually safer than going that bottom path. Now this section is unchanged. Every single laser here, I do believe, is in the exact same spot. Same for the enemies. This is just gonna be a long automated section here, so we'll just let the pulley go. You can get yourself some extra rings here, but at this point, we have more than enough. Just be careful not to get shot. If you're shot here at all, then you're going to fall down and probably insta-die. So just be very careful, but we can take a shortcut near the end, knowing where the ending is. This is going to be our final section here, so let's just make our way through this section. I'm just going to be ignoring all these enemies. I'm only going to attack things if I need to. No real reason to stop what I'm doing and attack, just for the sake of attacking. If there were any Black Arm aliens around, that would have been perfect. Would have filled up our chaos control gauge, but unfortunately, before the first computer terminal, that is where the aliens stop appearing. So that's unfortunate. You can only use chaos control in this level a total one time, which would have sped up the level a little bit, but not by terribly much. But that'll conclude Gun Fortress.
Perfect.
Shadow, it's me again. Sorry about last time. I've been busy planning the reconstruction.
Mr. President, it's time for the karaoke.
I'll talk to you later.
You're busy the construction about everything that happened in the city after the events here with Black Doom and his troops. And you're going out for karaoke? Politics at its finest. Want to be very careful in this level here because we're going to have a lot of situations where we're going to need to be on the air saucer. We can skip it to go a little bit faster, but obviously we do want to have some safety in areas here. So it's recommended to use the air saucer more than I'm using. Do as I say, not as I do.
Death to all who oppose me.
This is a very good use of my dark meter being filled. Oh, riveting. Elevator sequences. By the time we're out of the elevator sequence, we're basically going to be over meter. Mind you, it doesn't really matter. I want to attack the aliens around us more than the gun troops because I want that chaos control. And right now, there was no aliens in that path, so it didn't really matter. Thankfully, we have the Shadow Rifle, so that's going to make short work of a lot of the creatures here. You could use the vacuum gun in this section. It would suck up the worms, but it wouldn't suck up the laser troops. So it's better to use the Shadow Rifle in this stage for that reason. Take out this guy on the very top specifically, and that will cause our platforms to spawn, which we'll use these to get to the other side. And we have basically enough Chaos Control meter filled up, though next alien we defeat will have enough hero gauge. And in this case, use it right away, because this section I'm just trying to skip entirely. Using our Chaos Control, we can get to the top section here, and that's going to make things a little more convenient. Okay, thank you, Chaos Control. That's why you should save it for emergencies. In that situation, I slipped off. If I didn't have Chaos Control, I would have been a dead hedgehog. That's why you want to have some kind of safety. While we're here, we might as well farm up a little bit of our hero gauge, because we'll have a lot of aliens spawn. Not an infinite supply, but enough so we can get almost half our meter filled. So this section, we're supposed to go the long way around, go from the left all the way to the right here, and that'll take us to a warp gate. But from here, I can double jump, get off of the air saucer, and that gives us just enough height to clear this jump, getting us to the warp point, which is a lot better in my opinion than taking the entire long way around.
Death to all who oppose me.
I really don't want to have Chaos meter filled right now, so I guess we're just gonna ignore everything here. This is actually a good section to have Chaos Control, not Chaos Blast. So this is gonna look goofy, but I'm gonna be ignoring literally everyone in my path until this is done. And now we can start farming Chaos Control. Perfect. I really don't want to be here any longer. This section's very nerve-wracking if you lose your air saucer. And it's very easy to lose it because a couple shots from the gun soldiers around us, yeah, we're gonna fall off. Never had my Chaos Control drop me on an anchor before. Can't say that's an experience I ever wanted to have. That was nerve-wracking. Speaking of nerve-wracking, we're gonna take a pretty massive shortcut here. Instead of grinding down this entire section, we're gonna just jump to the door. It's a lot faster to do that, but it is a lot more reckless, so use that shortcut with caution. It's really helpful we have a gun that can insta-kill enemies, because that was a very fast section. We're already out. Take care of our teleporting gun soldier here. And let's make our way over to this section, which normally you would have to defeat a gun soldier to continue, but there's actually a spring over here. It's supposed to be if you fall off this section level, you can use your homing attack to hit the spring and get back to the top section here, which also skips having to fight a gun troop, which is perfect for the hero mission. If you miss the jump, however, it will insta-kill you, so you maybe want to keep the air saucer for that section. That'd make things a little bit safer. You should have just enough enemies in this final section to give us one more use of Chaos Control, which is perfect, because here is the final section. If we use Chaos Control here, this should take us straight to where the gold ring is located, which is convenient because they move the spring from the front to the back where this gold ring is located. But now that we finished making our way through the Black Comet, we're gonna end things here. Next time on Let's Play Shadow the Hedgehog Expert Mode, we'll be finishing this Expert Mode playthrough. Thank you guys for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.